to recover from that game number 1. That's your new mission as we welcome you back to BLG and TOP. That was an absolute debut of punishment, of power, of roughness for BLG. Welcome back. My name is Jake Hysterics-Penko, Mr. Clement Chu. And to recover from that game for BLG is going to require a miracle, Mr. Clement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a game that showcased miracles do happen in games, and there were a lot of miracles that happened for TOP. I don't think they planned the way to go out like that. I don't think it was really a systematic outplay. It was just acting better in those split seconds, those split moments, and getting that favorable dice roll to actually clean out the game. Now, TOP actually take down the Baron at this point. They're rushing home, but BLG did a good job at delaying most of the members. No backs were actually taken, and look at Cat. He knows the situation he's in, flashes in just to make sure that ADD can't put on more damage. Now it's Jinjiao's turn. Oh, Cat does such a good job here.
Cat saved the damn game.
He did. Oh, I actually felt like there was a slight mistake by Kuro in the final moments of that. You could see him actually throwing out an ability, trying to get back. That was not a sleepy trouble bubble he needed right there. Of course, that's nitpicking, but that's how close the margins actually were.
It was a game that is going to be remembered for a very long time, and a game that nets LokeN MVP of TOP. Of course, in that game, you know, you said off broadcast, you said that TOP, they were not in control of that game whatsoever.
No. BLG won 95% of that game. They should have been able to take it down, but hero play from Knight, hero play from Cat at the very end of that. Saved the game. And TOP, if they win this set, Invictus Gaming lose this set later on in the day, they will secure that second slot, their Rift Rivals appearance, and also a semifinals booth.
That's right. Remember, we count every single game here in the LPL. And of course, BLG, if they lose this series, they are out of playoff contention.
If they lose 0-2.
If they lose
if they lose 0-2, they are completely out. It does not matter what happens tomorrow. They are completely out. So this one game decides their fate.
This is a moment for BLG where you have to, after going backstage, somehow bring out a composition that is going to take you into Game 2 and then take you into Game 3.
Yeah, this is rough on the players so far, and I hope they're still in good spirits. Now you can see Coach Sim doing a great job this split with the team. It's a new rebuilding team. He used to be the old coach of Suning. Came over here, was known as a very rigid coach that adheres to league principles like putting more wards down. And I just want to share a stat from BLG that's absolutely ridiculous. They win 90% of their 20-minute team fights that they initiate on themselves. They are so good on picking the right fights. They always select the right ones, and a lot of it is because of that warding advantage. They have more information, they know when to collapse, they know which angles they should take, and that's kept them to this point. That's taken them to this point so far, but there's just so many monsters in the LPL. Even though you might play a smarter game, even though you might play a better game fundamentally, it doesn't mean you always walk away with the win.
They took themselves a win against Invictus Gaming. Now they have to do it against TOP. The deficit starts early on as TOP take game number 1. And BLG, the recovery game, is here to stay in playoffs. It begins game number 2.
Just taking a look at the drafting situation, BLG goes up back onto the blue side. This is a side that they've been much more comfortable on. I want to see what they actually select. They're not actually going to go for the safe mid laner picks. Now, this is typically what BLG likes to do on their blue side drafts. They want to make sure that Kuro is not really picked on by the rest of the mid laners from the LPL. Now, Kuro, while he's a great map player, is not exactly a master of the laning phase. He does present some weaknesses there. So BLG are actually veering away from that. They're going to give Metoer the job of keeping that mid lane safe.
Of course, at this point, you say that, look, the LeBlanc is a safe pick, but we know that the Zoe is still open and available, that Kuro's played many times before. Lysandra being banned away means there's limited options for BLG's mid lane, but Metoer back on the Jarvin once again is no big surprise. Cat on the Tahm. Kench was one of his favorites there in 2018.
Now, this is actually one of Cat's best champions. He's very nimble with where he wants to use the Abyssal Voyage. A lot of times you will see him leaving lane, taking his jungle onto ganks, even onto the top side of the map. So whenever he's on the map with the Tahm Kench, you have to be aware at all times. And we do see the Morgana. We have seen Scout and Pawn from the LCK pick this against the LeBlanc. You do have the pushing advantage. But at the same time, it's a pick that I would say is you really need to build a composition around it. You need a lot of engage to make it work.
But you know that it's going in the mid lane now. Curious that BLG go for the support and the mid lane in one rotation. That just takes away from the flex, and TOP can start banning away. They've got XX's Olaf, and he looked great on it in the first game at points, to be noted.
Yeah,
TOP will look for it again.
I think what TOP
well.
want is more flexible picks that they can run into the jungle with. The thing about Morgana is that even though she has pushing priority most of the time, it's very hard to actually land a Dark Binding. So she's not that good in terms of 2v2 skirmishing. So I like what TOP's idea is here. They have the Kindred that can dodge out on the flag drag combo. We saw in the previous set between FPX and V5. It is considered a counter pick to the Jarvin, and they also have the LeBlanc. So TOP have a very strong skirmishing and roaming squad that even if BLG get the priority in lane, they might not be able to transfer it into the actual fights.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind because TOP can add so much more to this as well. We know that if you look at something like the Taliyah from game number 1 to fit in nicely, but of course you've already got your mid lane. See what LokeN goes on this game, because we started banning out AD carries. Kog'Maw, Vayne, Ezreal, still on 9.5, so double tier Ezreal's still a thing. But the final AD carry ban is what you're expecting now from BLG, and Kalista is still open.
Yep, Kalista's still a very high priority pick in the bot side. We haven't seen a lot with Tahm Kench because it doesn't really fit that well with Tahm Kench, but I think Ashe is a great champion that LokeN could go for.
We haven't seen too much Lucian, actually, surprising. Across other regions, still a very high priority pick in the LPL. Has dropped a significant amount.
Yeah, the thing about Lucian is that he actually has a very low win rate in the LPL.
Really
a lot of people,
low.
Yeah, a lot of people understand how to play against it. You just wait for the late game. You pick an Ashe that can't shut him down in lane. So I don't think LokeN is going to go for something that's a Lucian that has such a short expiration date. I think the Ashe is a much better pick with the composition that they want to run with.
Yep, big potential adding up there for TOP as expected. See what BLG go for their potentially last game. And for Jinjiao, he's been an expert of AD carries. Clement, don't buy into it.
I like this pick.
I don't want you to buy into it. This is a bit more realistic there for BLG, of course. We've seen our fair share of Jinxes so far in the LPL, and it's continued to grow on us.
It definitely is going to be a hyper carry pick. If you look at TOP, they don't have divers on their composition, so he's relatively safe. He also has a Braum and a Morgana, essentially double supports in front of him. Also add in a couple more barrels coming in from ADD, and this Jinx should be able to free fire throughout the entire team fight.
This is going to be a good one for BLG. ADD, game number 2 of the Gankplank, but what do you take up into that top lane to negate it? Instead of going for the sign, instead of going for the team fight presence that TOP set themselves up for last time, maybe something that can harass it a bit more. Ryze for Moyu.
Yeah, you can contest the barrels with your auto attack, so you do want a ranged champion. Ryze is a very slow scaling champion, but I think he fits the composition because he can be a split pusher later on. And for TOP, they're all about defeat in detail. They're all about splitting the map. They're all about running a 1-3-1 and getting those global picks. On BLG side, they're going back to their fundamentals as well. They're going to go for the big 5v5 teamfight comp with Jinjiao as the centerpiece on Jinx.
And Kuro on the mid lane Morgana. Game 1, seeing the Taliyah. I even forgot the name, it's been that long. Seeing the mid lane Taliyah for Kuro was a bit out of what we've come to expect out of his wheelhouse. A lot of the Zoe, a lot of the LeBlanc, Lissandra for Kuro is a must ban in this meta especially. But seeing him on the Morgana mid, there is only one other player who's been doing this consistently, and Xiaohu in the mid lane for a mid lane Morgana has been a bit of a go-to. Not too surprised that for a team like BLG, when it matters most, that the Morgana mid comes skyrocketing out against the LeBlanc, no doubt.
Yeah, that's we've seen this as a classical counter pick all the way back from the days of MSI when FLICKR was undefeated on the LeBlanc. It was Pawn that took the Morgana and defeated him there, took away a flawless record from the Demon King himself, and we're seeing that resurgence into the pick. The theory is still the same, and I think it actually works even better on 9.6 with its distortion damage being nerfed on the LeBlanc. So right now on 9.5, it's still playable. We have seen the likes of Scout on it, and the fundamental theory works very much the same. It's a very powerful mid-game team fighting champion. You can just walk in with the additional movement speed with the Soul Shackles.
A lot of wave clear as well. also expect to see Kuro on the roam earlier on, just like Knight. This game cannot repeat. And what am I talking about? Game number 1, for Christ's sake. TP and BLG. That was an absolute cracker of a finish. But in game number 2, it must be a BLG win. Otherwise, playoffs is a no-go. And our top 8 will be decided. This time we got both, Clement. 100% sure this time we got both.
A little bit more of TOP fan base waking up at the stadium after that game 1 finish. I would be waking up too.
Man, if you're asleep after that last game, I do not envy you.
Oh yeah, you're probably in the grave by then.
Area on the mid lane, Morgana. What else stands out to me here? I see an Arcane Comet on Moyu. First time in a very long time I have not seen Aftershock on Ryze. Wow.
So just looking at the lane, walking through, we do see Kuro starting out with the W early. With the Tormented Shadows, is going to start pushing the wave. We do expect to see a couple more points into that. Usually take at least level 3. And for TOP, it's all about their chances to leave the lane and create chaos inside the BLG jungle.
You spoke about that 1-3-1 and the ability to move around this map. Meteor starting off with a Scuttle Crab. Yeah, the crowd vote going to TOP.
That isn't the crowd vote. That's a Colonel vote.
The Colonel vote.
Yes.
The biased Colonel vote. Oh, that's a shame.
So I was actually listening in on the Chinese cast, and they've actually cracked the code on the Colonel vote.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
So the Colonel actually only considers the champion win rate and does not consider compositions whatsoever. I wouldn't call it accurate by any sense. So they figured out if you pick a champion that was only selected once, but won that game, then the Colonel typically favors you.
He's not good at League of Legends, you know?
No, he's not
Makes them damn good chicken. But his League of Legends stuff is pretty out there.
Yeah, but we still thank the Colonel wholeheartedly.
We thank him, yes.
For his participation in the
LPL. Yes, thank you very much.
And I just want to do a short update. Actually, BLG need to win this series. So
yes.
Even if they win 1 game but they drop the series, they're still out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of how Sign and Dragon are going, Sign and Dragon have 1 less loss than BLG. That's what I was saying before. BLG, a simple loss in the series, even 1 and 2,
yes,
is going to be absolutely devastating, especially considering how game 1 went.
So my apologies here. Like we're the way that tiebreakers are decided. You go match score, you go win rate, and then you go head to head.
Yep.
It's a recent change in the LPL, and yeah, I just got my math a little bit mixed up.
You're all right, Clement.
Yep. BLG do need a win here, or they're out.
At this point, if you're relying on the game 2 and game 3, I remember what I said before, a 2-1 win for BLG is okay, but you rely then on Sign and Dragon to have that same 2-1, or even a loss, rather. The head-to-head does go to BLG, so that's the one thing they have on their side. But relying on Sign and Dragon for their final series is going to be a bit, maybe anticlimactic, as they're going up against Suning.
It's going to be a bit dicey. You know, they really want, you know, BLG is probably the biggest Suning fans at this point. Taking a look at the rune so far. Quite normal for top lane Ryzes. We do see a lot of the range champions going into the domination tree and getting both of the sustain options.
I'm still surprised about the comment. I mean, a lot of the time we do see the phase rush, but you're talking about how that 1-3-1 is going to come into effect and how we're going to see Moyu moving quite heavily across the map, going up against ADD, pushing the Gankplank out, favoring the late game Ryze, of course. There's teleport going to be channeled there by ADD to just get back in the lane. Moyu as well. That is a very healthy start of items there for ADD.
Yeah, been seeing this a lot. Just a lot of people even take the triple Jujus.
The what?
The triple rejuvenation beads.
Jujus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely a very fun build. I wouldn't call it fun. Well, it depends on which side you're playing on. If you're the range champion, then not a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
it's definitely a very worthwhile thing, especially with the kind of works the same way the fairy charms do. Xiongxiong has a good position, but is spotted out.
XX dropping a ward will clear that one out. And you see what the response is. ADD has to pay respect to that topside turret. Again, ADD on the Gankplank just getting bullied out, pushed out, and 15 CS behind already.
Oof. Yeah, that's quite rough for the Gankplank earlier on. And he is bringing the Grasp of the Undying, so the lane going a lot worse than the matchup would suggest.
Oh. Talked about this matchup though, Clement.
Yeah.
Gone down with the Smite challenged away. Meteor's out. And top lane gets absolutely no response. Instead, TOP send up Knight 2.
Yeah, the thing about Gankplank early is he doesn't really have the wave clear. Not a lot of damage on those barrels early on, so he's pretty much only single target, and this is going to open up the top side. That's
20 CS in the lead for Ryze. Meteor has no other choice but to pick out an early drag and start looking towards that top side, sorry, bottom side and mid side himself. ADD able to push himself back into lane, but he just might die here as XX is going for the proxy in the flank.
We really have to pay close attention to ADD and his oranges. Does he have those up? Did he use it prior? Because this gank is coming in. Xiongxiong is looking for those stacks.
He has Cannon Barrage to clear out the wave. Moyu locks in under turret. Comet goes down. Half health on ADD, but Knight's here as well.
This has to be the most uncomfortable pirate in the world.
This ain't no Captain Jack Sparrow, let me tell you now. ADD misclick for the parlay, walks up to Moyu. He's just face planting into the lane. He doesn't want to be a part of this. Let me out. Even flushes over the side. Doesn't have teleport to escape. They just leave him. Because look, the Kindred's following.
Yeah, this is a really good idea by ADD. He wants to deny the stack away from Xiongxiong.
Has it been enough?
I think it has been 10
seconds.
Has it been
enough, ADD?
Oh!
Yeah! Take that!
Well done. An honorable suicide.
An honorable death.
Yeah, we call that the coward's way out most of the time, but that was a hero's way out.
Yeah, it definitely was. And so ADD, look, it doesn't take away from the fact that the Ryze was able to back freely, get back into lane. So although ADD was able to die.
Look at how much turret plating they got off of that. They got 2 turret platings off of that.
That's fine. Say that when the Ryze comes back into lane and ADD still forced out with Moyu topside.
That was as well as he could have played it. Like, you have to give the man props for trying his absolute best, and they actually had a lot of gold out of that.
Yep.
This is going to be a happy Kuro. He's going to be able to push his lane super hard.
Wouldn't expect Meteor to really make positioning in that top side of the map, if that is English. He's at the bottom side at the moment. Blue buff's up and available, but XX just going from his top side jungle to Meteor's topside jungle, doesn't care about his own blue buff. He is not leaving this Gankplank alone. And even putting the control ward down, they'll know that XX is there after clearing out the Raptors, spotted on a ward. Here we go again.
Yeah, ADD had a very good performance last game, so I'm not surprised by the focus TOP is throwing his way. And this is going to bring a lot of members here, Mini and Meteor, on the roam.
It's a quick rotation because they know that Cat is going to be up here as well. TOP, the contestant for the blue buff, does go over to Meteor, level 6, Cataclysm available, jumps on in early on the trigger finger as XX has to flash out, but that is so good for ADD.
Yep, he does finally get to walk up to his minion wave. He's still behind by 30, but... Oh, and the wave is pushing
and
out.
And the wave is huge.
Yeah. Oof.
Watch this.
He could still get this back. He could honestly still get this back.
Okay, all right. Well, I like the optimism there, Clement. That's very true, but 40 CS down is not making me optimistic at the moment as well. ADD, that wave's going to crash in on him, but he's only got half of it left. Oh, come on. Sorry, I really hate cannons being
missed.
Yeah. So much gold.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, we miss them a lot. I do agree with you, so I know.
I play support. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't play tank supports either, so that's on you.
The CS cannons.
You just don't like my Ezreal support, you know? You just.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I don't know what you're
like,
talking
I didn't
about.
want to say anything the first 2 times you played it, but
the
3
third
times
time that was enough.
Well, looks like Meteor is coming in though.
Yeah, all right. Well, this is gonna kind of bring the lane back into contention if Moyu can't survive. ADD at half health. The Realm Walk's there. The flag and drag misses. Fancy footwork from the Ryze.
Very well done. Meteor could have tried to flash to stop that, but it was of course very risky. And good dodge by Moyu.
It's not the only lane that's forcing out their opponent. Knight doing exactly that right now. Kuro has to take the long way around to rejoin as LeBlanc has blue buff, level 8, 10 CS ahead. Ashe is ahead in the lane as well. TFB ahead in the whole matchup. I mean, 1k gold lead, and this is exactly what we saw out of BLG in game 1.
It does seem like there was a transfer mistake for the blue buff, or someone had to take it away to
Oh,
prevent.
well, we saw the invade there before, Clement.
Yeah.
And XX forcing out the blue buff means Metoer had to smite it.
Okay.
Rather
Yeah,
than Kuro being able to get it.
So that is going to impact the mid lane quite a bit. We
Really is.
usually do expect the Morgana to have the roam priority now, but that's not going to be the case.
Yep. Questionable to see if the top lane, however, is still being my focus, can find its footing back in. At 10 minutes in the game, 48 CS. BLG, something's got to give. Because Metoer, his attention is being diverted to the top side. XX is still up there as well. Of course, Rift Herald being the natural objective that looks to be taken next.
And we do have to remind everyone that BLG, they do play a relatively slow laning phase. They're not strangers to this type of scenario, and they do have a very good late game comp to come back with this. So not everything is lost. I think they're still in a relatively good position as long as they don't let Moyu expand on this lead. I honestly feel like they need at least one gank into the top side just to equalize the power of Ryze.
They're going to do something. Metoer forced out all the way back to the mid lane. That's just the strength of XX right now. He has a lead in himself. He continues invading, continues farming up, and continues to look towards his top side. Just loves it up here.
Yeah, and this is the counter matchup. Metoer actually does have the item lead. He has the completed warriors, but you almost can't trade against the Kindred that way. It's so easy for her to just dodge all of your damage with the Dance of Arrows. So it is a quite frequent counter pick in this situation. And we can see Xiong just running away with the matchup.
Yeah, he really is. It's rare that we see Kindred in the LPL going up against a Jarvin, but finally getting to see the matchup as the Channel Crystal Arrow onto Jinjiao. Lethal Tempo activated. We are not debated. TOP straight into the Dragon. It gets reset just a touch as Rift Herald gets taken by XX. 2 objectives. Can TOP get the second? Well, it reset, went back in. So 1 for now is okay. Rift Herald even coming down to say good day.
Yeah, and this is going to get those 2 turret platings that Knight lost earlier on back into his own pockets. See Kuro, no blue buff, no priority here.
Knight says thank you kindly. That's just what you need as a LeBlanc against the Morgana mid.
Yeah, just does not feel good whatsoever. Now Kuro's actually been pretty on point with these dark bindings, but
oh no,
can't really have the kill pressure.
Oh my lord, 80D at half health. Eat an orange, son, you got scurvy. Moyu getting kited back on, but ADD now with the corrupting potion. Not going to find a spell flux to follow up. Moyu gets lane dominance once again. 50 CS, Clement. It continues to rise. It's like if you're looking at stock on Wall Street and Moyu was that said stock, you're saying, baby, I want to invest more.
Yeah, we're going to see that on the Wall Street Journal tomorrow. Like, great IPO coming in from Moyu's first debut. And just a little bit of background information on Moyu. His name actually means squid. So we see this in a lot of TOP posters. They just put a squid on the ground. That's referring to
Even though it's his first game of the regular season.
They do actually like to put him on there.
They were alluding to him, that's why.
Yes. The roster, Xiong means bear.
Yep.
So he's an animal as well. Cat is obviously an animal. They were actually known as the zoo team.
I love it. He had to explain cat. Just in case you guys didn't know what cat means. Yeah. There you go. Old tradition here.
It's always funny to learn about the Chinese memes. Like the Chinese language offers a lot of words that share the same pronunciation. So they're very creative with their own memes here.
That's fair. I also found out the other day in my language lesson why there's repetition in Chinese, which is fun. I actually still don't know why. I just know that it's a thing.
Okay.
But for TOP, look, it's kind of the repetition, speaking of this game number 2. But on the other side, BLG, it was their early game that was demonstrating the monstrosity that could happen. And TOP kind of taking a page from that book as they continue to play towards their old style. Kuro locked in underneath the turret, has to flash and Protobelt at the same time. Starting to become a very big issue as XX has already gotten top lane ahead. He's looking mid, he's looking bot. He now has full roam of the map.
Yeah, the thing about compositions like BLG is running is you do need at least 1 or 2 early game plays to keep you afloat in this situation. And I think the key person we're looking at is really Metoer. They have a very good mid-game team fight, but they haven't been able to get into the Dragon Pit whatsoever.
Hello.
Here's the cat play.
Cat, LokeN from one side to the other. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is available. Tongue Lash to burn it out. Good play from Cat. Realm Warp to come in as well. First blood to the Ryze that already had enough gold in his pocket.
15-minute first blood, but that was so well played by Cat. Actually flashes just to get the black shield away.
It was so precise too. Moyu picking up that first blood at BLG. Starting to fear this Ryze, and why shouldn't they? ADD, back to your ship, champion. Ryze going to take full top lane control. The Cannon Barrage even used in the mid lane just to try and get some CS and clear out the wave. It's all too little right now for BLG as TOP. The monstrous early game is back in this second one.
Yeah, all things going the way of TOP at this point. This is Cat's best champion, the Catfish. And just look at this play. LokeN tries to force out the Black Shield, doesn't get it to go, but Cat uses the Tongue Lash to completely take it away. Now, that was pretty cool because he actually had enough damage to go through the Black Shield at that point. If there was still Black Shield HP, he would have stayed alive. But it wasn't the case. Actually, the Crystal Enchanted Arrow would have had the damage to go through. So, never mind, never mind. My bad, my bad.
No, but still wouldn't have gotten the stun down, so you're absolutely right, Clement. Still good play there from TOP. There's a 3K gold advantage for TOP. And it's sitting exactly where you think it is. Bottom lane has a lead. Mid lane, as we talked about, there's first items all across the board. Archangel's staff now stacking up for Moyu, and it's not even the turret plating that made that much of an advantage, considering BLG would have to strike back in the mid lane.
Yeah, it was pretty much just the top lane, and the top lane alone. That 50 CS lead on Moyu. And starting the 1-3-1 early, things don't look good for BLG. They don't really want to fight before the 3-item mark on Jinx.
Oh, and you know what the second item for Moyu is going to be? The Do and Be special, which has started to come across the LPL very consistently.
I think it's such a good build when you're ahead, and all you want is really the initiation. You have the damage already just with the amount of mana you have.
Yep.
So it's a great build decision here.
And it means that ADD is not going to be able to live. There's so much chase potential with the Righteous Glory. There's already so many concerns for ADD being a level behind in this matchup, being pushed in heavily with BLG, nowhere to go but the mid and bottom lane that even then they're losing control of.
The Squid gets to call the Pirate the Landlubber this time.
Wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Moyu a little bit more often after this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, Moyu does have a little bit more experience on the Rift compared to 369, his first rookie year. I would say 369 still has the higher highs from what we've been able to see. His Aurelia games are just disgusting.
Yep.
But this is a good look for TOP. They have their main shot caller from 2018 back on the roster. Moyu is giving them a little bit more tenacity, I would say, in the team fights. They can roll with the Scion, which is something 369 doesn't typically go towards.
I did just quickly mention there before how the gold was spread out. It is purely in that top lane.
Yep.
That's 2,000 directly for Moyu at 18 minutes in the game. They got a Mountain Dragon as well, so a split pushing Ryze. Just going to be knocking away on those turrets as fast as anything else, but you know that it's still going to hammer on down. Baron up in 1 minute 20, that Mountain Drake spawning at the exact same time, so the double going to be contested widely as each team has one.
I would say BLG are still fine in this position. If you look at the map, TOP haven't really been able to clamp down on the objectives much.
True.
As soon as I say this, they do figure out that Jarvin's most likely top handing dealing with the blue buff. So they're actually just free to walk in on this tower. You know, throughout these couple of minutes, BLG has not allowed their towers to take much damage. They're still okay on the rest of the map. The only lane that really has a sizable deficit is in that top lane, like you were talking about. So they can still drag this on. They're actually doing a fairly good job of it.
All right, turret getting pushed on down. Mid lane still there as well. BLG holding faith in Jinjiao once again to be noted. Infinity Edge, Renan's Hurricane, 2-item Jinx. This is where it begins. And you just have so much wave clear on the side of BLG now. Even though the Gankplank's behind with the Trinity Force, which came very late into the game, you're still saying that we may not be able to hold these side lanes as well as we should have at this point, but we can still hold them nonetheless and get those control minions on our side.
And Hurricane is when Jinx can start making miracles happen. All of those small bolts do add up the damage with her Fishbone's rocket launcher, you get triple AoE on a single target if the targets are close enough.
Yep.
So that's 360% of a normal auto attack on someone if you get all of those 3 people together, and they can really well set up for that team fight with something like the Cataclysm.
Very easy to clump for BLG, or rather make TOP clump, as the Chenna does come out into the Braum shield. Mini has to stand behind Jinjiao as he gets chased on by XX. One rocket onto XX, a lot of damage to be done by the Jinx. I love how you brought out how BLG still not out of this game just yet, because it's showing here that their re-engage potential is very, very dangerous.
If I was TOP, I would not actually try to do this Dragon at all. I think it's way too risky with the lead you currently have. I'm far more willing to let BLG just take over this one and continue to grow my side lane leads. My win condition is the 1-3-1. I don't need to take these 5v5s, and it does look like TOP have the same read I do.
Yep. Break it down a little bit more. Baron up, Mountain up as well, and you said it was risky to take it well. BLG know that, started clearing out some of the vision and setting up some of their own. This game has been a testament as to how when BLG fall massively behind, that their vision struggles and lacks as well. There's been limited towards ADD, who, by the way, is 60 CS behind in that top lane still. Righteous Glory against ADD. He does not want to be anywhere near the Ryze, but he has to be, because Moyu is just free splitting again.
And I do question a little bit about the draft from BLG. I actually don't think that Jarvin was particularly worth it as the first pick. It was countered out, and in this instance, why not just take the Gankplank instead? There's nothing that really counters it. And you left it up as a blind pick as well. So I felt like they could have better options, especially if you're running a late game composition. You can't afford to lose all your lose your lanes and have a weaker jungler at the same time. So that was a little bit questionable for me, and Meteor wasn't able to converge on anything. Like, if you got a kill in the bot lane, got Jinx maybe ahead, at least had one winning side of the map, I felt like a lot of these things could be equalized out. But TOP won a lot of things in the top side, and their bot lane was fine. Their bot lane was actually up in CS in the bottom side as well. So it really became a situation where it felt like TOP were just winning on all the lanes and suffocating the map from objectives.
TOP style has been clever. It's how TOP have been playing a lot of their games. Reason we call them IG Light, that ability to suffocate their enemy team in the early parts of the map. There's 22 minutes in.
That's a lot of damage.
This is a bit much there. Kuro locking on down Knight. This becomes very
Jinjiao
dangerous.
Find it?
Yes!
Oh, he gets it!
Taken down! BLG, now the fight is theirs. You lock down the Kindred. You lock down the objective. Mountain may go to TOP, but the points go over to BLG.
Yeah, that was a cool finish from Jinjiao. From downtown, he gets the 3-point shot, finds Knight as he tries to slink away onto the bottom side.
And hey,
that was cool.
That's the first kill for Jinx. I like it. Let's go to Baron.
You know
my
what?
lord.
Get excited.
Yes. Now, Moyu's the thing we have to worry about, because the Ryze is level 14 and BLG cannot get collapsed on. The damage is already going in. LokeN with the cannon barrage around the side. BLG still in the pit. Stop committing for the Baron. Moyu comes in. AoE starts to spread. LokeN and Chenna goes wide. It is weird, but the smite secures it. Now into Moyu. The flag and drag. The binding is short as he flashes away. Righteous Glory. Flash, triple, quadruple flash. And they're out on Abyssal Voyage. Oh, ADD, please. Not like this. Run for your life. They don't know where he is.
He's out.
Oh, secret assassin. Secret ninja, more likely.
It's such good play from BLG. They take away the 2 kills from the mid and jungle, instantly snowball it into Baron, and they only trade support for it. That was completely fine on their end.
Yeah.
It did look like a misplay from LokeN. It looked like he was trying to get in the Devour at the same time as he was releasing his arrow.
The arrow went, we're going all the way back here though.
Yeah, it definitely went wide. Start of the play here, we see Knight fall down to below half
just stands
health.
in it. He's like, well, I mean, he had to, kind of.
And here comes the arrow. Oh, XX does a block.
Ah, yes.
The distort goes out, but it's too late. And they find the double, the 2-piece going out. And are we going to get a replay of what happened in the pit? Good job by ADD trying to keep everyone out.
Oh. So he must have fired it, and because Tahm Kench, when he devours you, he directs you to the direction of his mouth.
Yeah.
So the arrow was fired at the same time, therefore it's Cat's fault.
Yes,
just saying.
It was Cat's fault. It definitely was Cat's fault there. Unfortunate synergy.
It's okay.
That's one of those God V moments, to be honest.
Okay, that's very fair, Clement. Turret does go down in the mid lane though, like back to reality for BLG. It seems the gravity of the situation for TOP has changed.
Yeah.
Gold's dead even, Moyu in the side lane, but BLG as a 4-man unit themselves can just sit here and keep sieging with the Baron. There's been such a big heads-up play for BLG to stay into playoffs. Still a big question mark.
Honestly, they're in a very good position. Their 4-man has a lot more strength than TOP's. TOP doesn't have an engage on the 4-man they're currently trying to defend with right now.
Yep.
So all they can do is try to poke out and try to dissuade BLG, but I don't think they have any real chance of engaging.
Even setting up the 1-3-1 is not possible here for TOP right now. Knight has to sit mid and try to get the pick. Mini takes the electrocute, but half his health. There's not really enough there from Knight. Inhibitor turret stays standing, but they get enough out of it. BLG with the gold lead in what seems like the first time this game.
Yeah, really well played by BLG. They also noticed that Moyu was outside of vision, so they back out. They know he's running Righteous Glory. They don't want to be caught out in the mid lane from TOP. So safe play all around the board, and the Colonel, come on, man, you have to stick to your predictions.
What is this one on, Clement?
This is the expected win rate for the two teams.
I mean, I get that. I get that much. But
what is this based on?
Is this literally, you know, it's just objectives and everything,
this
isn't it?
This is based on extrapolation.
I'm asking again because every time I hear a different answer. You know, not from you, from different people.
I give the same answer every time.
Okay, well, maybe you and I need to calm
Raz
together
is a flip-flopper.
I love how you play. I wasn't even talking about Raz, but sure, that's great. Let's just diss someone who's not even here. I would be surprised if, you know, people like Raz, people like you I know, didn't expect this to go the distance. With the way BLG have been playing, I think this had the potential to go to Game 3. This had the potential to be a 2-0. As we saw in that very first game, BLG bringing it right back into contention in this Game 3. Jinjiao has 3 items now as well. And this is getting to a point where hyper carry online. And BLG ready to take us the distance, but speaking a bit early, we'll see the outer drop first.
Once again, the problem is that Knight is not far enough ahead. TOP don't actually have a 1-3-1 strategy to go to. All they have is a 4-1, which is, you know, it's still good for a split pushing, but it's very easy for the enemy team to actually trade back.
This
playing
is a bit
one
of a
lane
race.
against one lane.
There's 4 people top lane. They'll go for an inhibitor turret. Knight has to back away. I'm not sure Moyu can get that turret. He has teleport, but BLG is just going to go right for it.
Yeah, TOP actually don't have engage here. They absolutely need the Ryze to come in to save this.
There's a teleport. Here we go.
It's the double.
The Realm Warp available as well. BLG, 4-man unit sitting up top lane. ADD has his TP as well, but Clement, will they follow through?
The BLG are out.
Blocked. See you later. Morgana at the back for a reason, you punk. TOP get nothing for it. An inhibitor turret drops for free when ADD was already going to lose that mid lane inner. Bottom lane inner, excuse me.
Yeah, TOP are really running out of options at this point. They need to think of a way that they can clamp down on BLG. But BLG playing it so safe once more. I really like the vision work that they've been doing. They've allowed 0 backline wards in that lane. A lot of the times how we see the play develop is that the team that wants to collapse might find a sneaky ward in that lane that they place around the Fnatic rush. That's typically the anchor spot that everyone likes to go for. But BLG did a very good job on clearing out that entire lane, so TOP could not find their footing.
They set themselves up for Baron as well nicely. That's BLG, who have 40 seconds to work around this objective. Immediately TOP start pushing out the waves, and you can see even Moyu joining in as he crosses and bridges towards the top side of the map. Moyu the biggest factor here in this game, and I'll say it again, Knight not having the iconic series that we've come to expect here out of the mid lane, or best quoted, best in China.
I don't think he can do anything here on the bot side. I feel like ADD is actually fairly safe. He does have the Hex Drinker, he has the Mercurial Treads as well. So I don't think he's going to fall down to this pressure. I understand why they're putting him bot lane. He's the only one with teleport left. So they have to try and split the composition up this way, but it's really more of a risk than anything.
Double distortion. Kuro tries to read it, but here he comes with the ultimate, popped on through with the Dark Seal. ADD chasing him up. This is a
Jinx
hungry
is still
pirate.
here.
He's got scurvy. He wants to get rid of it. Knight, tasty bit of fruit to add to the collection. And as ADD picks up the kill now for TOP, they make a desperate play.
The Meteor's here. This is going to be a 50-50
wow,
berry.
Going quick. Remember, double Mountain Drake to take it through. Dunks on him, but doesn't get the smite still. Meteor as he goes golden. Kuro for the other side. ADD chaining in barrels. TP need to get out of there. There's already one Jinx kill. Cat XX Moyu running for the hills. There's that flushed away from. But Jinjiao is hungry. Tongue Lash not going to come through because that's the Morgana. The binding doesn't connect, but the zap does. ADD is speedy as all hell. They burst him down. Devour from Cat saves his life, but Clement, even with the Baron buff, I think we lose an inhibitor here.
Yeah, but I have to throw a shout out to my homie with his escape plans, man. Cat was so good in that team fight. Got 3 people out from the Baron pit, and then saved Moryu's life to go with that. So that was about as well as they could have played that.
They might get double inhibitor as well. I'm not sure if Knight can stop this. Dodges away from the Dark Binding. And Moyu's just approaching them. Jinjiao, he finds it. Double inhibitor again. Clement, I don't want to say this, but TOP are in a bad position once again. It looks like BLG have taken control.
Rough position for sure. I really like the way BLG has reacted to all of this. They gave a very good contest into that Baron, and that 2 inhibitors instant follow-up was a great idea. Now Knight is not spotted there, but good senses by Mini. He did have an inkling of it.
I love what BLG are doing with the pick potential from TOP. They walk as a 5-man unit. They're not backing in a very dangerous position. They make it all the way back to their blue buff and then go together. The BLG style is that their macro is some of the best, or teamwork, some of the best here in the LPL.
I just thought of the opposite example. Like, LGD are masters of leading PYL. It's so funny. It's like, someone shouts, get on the chopper, and like PYL's just there to like guard the oil.
So I'll die so that you may live. And they're like, well, we all die anyway.
Oh, but here go TOP 2v3.
Different scenario. Yeah,
What?
not sure, Clement. Hey, let's give 2 more kills to the Jinx. How about that?
That was a food delivery. Okay.
That's as quick as it is here over in China, to be fair. I mean, it really doesn't take that long, and Jinjiao picking up those 2 kills.
I think this is the end of the game.
Fair
they
enough.
could really go for it.
I mean, Baron not up and available. TP still playing on it. Look at where BLG are, right through the mid lane. Moyu's on the side lane though, so this is still a threat. If BLG can't get there fast enough, they lose the maximum.
We do see the pings going out now. BLG were burned by their own decision to try to finish the game last time, but
oh no.
All right.
2 games in a row, Clement, I'm not sure. This was ambitious though, to say the least.
I'm not sure if it was an accident, a Hail Mary play, or did BLG actually set up the bait for that? Because I'm pretty sure that only Jinjiao was in vision of the minion wave.
Yeah.
So they were like, hey, you know what? Let's try to dangle this Jinx in front of them, see what happens.
Because you just gave the Jinx 2 more kills. And this is what I'm fearing, that you got a 4-item Jinjiao already, working towards his 5th. He's got control wards, as every good AD carry should at this point in the game, but again, shows that priority on vision as you look across the inventories of BLG.
Yeah.
See what happens next, because the Jinx will find herself on a lot of gold after this turret. Already has so much in the bank, expecting that final item to make its appearance in 33 minutes in the game for BLG.
Can we say the catfish was
let out of the bag?
I always didn't go for catfish.
Okay. He's catfished, apparently.
Yes. That was a really good
play. That's actually a very good analogy, Clement. Well done. BLG letting something else out of the bag. What's that? The power and prominence of this next inhibitor turret and what the potential it brings. If they open this up, game 3, I can feel it. Moyu trying to stop that from happening, and so is Knight. Double distortion, bit of damage, but redemption to keep them safe.
Yeah, that was a very good 3-man hit coming in from Knight. 2 on the back line as well. Does force out the early redemption.
Chanakris arrow into the support. That's not what you want. You're looking for Jinjiao. You're looking for Kuro. Wherever the Black Shield's not on. Big ultimate down now for LokeN. And the side waves are crashing in.
We haven't seen a big team fight with Lamb's Respite actually use this.
I don't even think we've seen Lamb's Respite at all this game.
Does Kindred even have an ultimate?
Hasn't leveled it up just yet, apparently. Inhibitor getting chunked down. Look at the Nexus turrets. BLG can play through this. All right, Clement. Nexus turret number 1 looks like it's going to drop. Triple inhibitor. BLG dotting the I's, crossing the T's. One objective left.
There's only 1 game where a team lost after taking triple inhibitors.
Oh, no.
It does go to Suni.
Yep.
But we just wanted to highlight how rare it is for a team to actually come back from this situation. TOP, we've seen miracles in game 1. Are they going to do it again in game 2?
You're hoping for the miracle fight. Want to see that Lamb's Respite as ADD, who got forced out in this game number 2, is making his return in front of the enemy Ryze and LeBlanc. ADD level 17, look at that. Doesn't matter how far behind he is. A Gankplank still going to hit hard in this 35-minute absolute brawler.
A lot of damage being dealt by both sides, and look at the items from Xiongxiong. Infinity Edge already complete.
Yeah.
If he gets a couple lucky crit procs, then that's the entire team gone.
That's fair.
So this is still a very close matchup, too close for comfort, and you can see BLG with the waves dissipating, they do decide to back off. They still have another Baron to look forward to, so I like this play, going for the high percentage play rather than trying to force their way to a victory right here and now.
But for TOP, just coming back to how they pull off this set miracle. Moyu's level 18 on the Ryze, 4 items. We know what the Righteous Glory takes away from the Ryze into his late game scaling and what it affects. But he's still at such a good point in comparison to ADD, so we'll see Moyu. Yeah, that's the chunk of damage you come to expect.
And you see ADD reconsidering. He's like, I'm going to go in on this Ryze.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take down this Scallywag. He goes in and is like, wait a minute, I don't do damage. Never mind. Back out, back out.
Moyu can still sit in this side lane, but BLG can force up the mid lane. A teleport available for Moyu. He will have to join up as the inhibitors respawn. It looks like BLG could just get them for free.
Yep, they're going for the high percentage plays. Just get the double inhibitors. Walk back for the Baron.
Wow.
Make sure you have the Black Shield on time.
XX just bursted out Kuro. A lot of potential there, but Jinjiao does more. Gets excited. XX lands a respite. Let's go. Cat devours him before that happens. And because of XX just getting chunked down, that could be the next inhibitor. ADD getting forced out underneath his own turret.
What?
Moyu.
He's taking that entire thing.
He's going to get an inhibitor too. BLG make a move. Is it base? Is it end?
There is a teleport from Kuro. Kuro might be thinking about actually collapsing onto Moyu, but no, Moryu's gonna just trade back.
Just took the inhibitor himself. Still in the bottom lane while Baron gets started for BLG. This is unnerving, Clement.
Yeah, the gold is completely even, and TOP are setting up for the base race.
Not again. Here we go. Waves cleared out by ADD, but Moyu can still take it up. He's looking for the 1v1 while Baron goes down. First lands the fight. We see him at the jungle instead. Baron will go down here while TOP are charging in. They want to take playoffs away. They can't finish. TOP, 4 members strong, Clement. I think they might be able to. Baron comes in. TOP are on the Nexus. AoE damage needs to come through, but Jinjiao stops them. Sit down. It's not happening 2 games in a row.
BLG says not even close. Double teleports, and they should be able to close out this game. It was a smart idea by TOP, but they finally did get the empowered Baron buff back into base.
What a game number 2. Look at the Ohm Wrecker for BL. This for BLG is going the distance. Their playoff dreams survive as TOP try to do what they did in game 1.
Yeah, and we did see actually a quit from Cat there, being thrown off his game in that situation, and it will go to a game 3. It looked very dicey for a moment right there. TOP sending the entire 4-man squad and only Kindred to contend with the Baron, but it was well played by Mini's part to keep the Kindred out of the pit. If Kindred actually secured the Baron, if Xiongxiong was able to steal that, BLG would have lost the game.
Yeah. This series delivered.
Yeah.
By more than an absolute margin. Gold goes out the window, it doesn't matter, because the early game for TOP was so darn solid, but then you have a Jinx, and you have a Jinx who had a good laning phase, you have a Jinx who just pushed so far ahead in the mid to late.
That CC chain was absolutely crucial from BLG. The way that they kept the Kindred in place, she was only 1 Q away from entering the pit and contesting the Baron, but they didn't allow it to happen. And in the end, they do get home, secure the base, they wipe TOP, and last time, game 1, they were 100 HP away. This time for TOP, they were 2,500 HP away.
Yeah, it was half health for the Nexus. TOP trying to rush it down at the very end, and that just makes me go, well, what's going to happen in game 3? Because it once again came down to that Nexus push.
Yes.
TOP losing out. I saw an Ohm Wrecker, which I haven't seen in about 1,000,000 years. But the Gankplank to finish off, I was so confused. I'm going, what the heck are we?
That was to spite them.
Yeah.
That was actually to spite them.
I
like the fight in BLG. That's the spirit you want when you're going for your playoff. You can't show that you've been rattled by what happened in game 1. You have to go into their base and Zhonya's in their fountain and show them who's boss, just like Kuro did.
Clement Chew, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2. That was ADD's testament as well. He got forced so far behind on the Gankplank in this game. And much like game one, where we're like, okay, they're trying to contest the top lane. It looks like ADD's in a good position against the Sion. This time against the Ryze, Moyu, big key factor. And off of that, TOP just tried to end the game.
Yeah, no, those were really well played on both sides. Like, the riskiness of the final play, if I was BLG, I'm not sure if I'm happy with that ending. I'm not exactly sure I'm happy with that.
I think I'm happy with that ending because I'm like, whoa, it's much cleaner than what happened in game one.
I'm happy with the win. I'm not sure about the last play. The last play was pretty damn risky. Okay. But they made it work.
They made it work. This whole series has been about risks, Clement.
Yes, it has been. And I want to compliment BLG so much. I felt like they had much more control throughout the entire series than TOP ever did. And you can see how they could just turn it on a dime. They found that that team fight on the Mountain Drake, which honestly I didn't think that, you know, TOP should ever try.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah, like it's like, you know, whatever. The Drake doesn't matter. Okay. Like the Drake actually doesn't matter. You have a 1-3-1 comp. Okay. You can live your life happily ever after without the Drake. Sometimes you have to let things go. But they didn't, and they stepped in the pit, and that was like they got taken down in instant Baron play. So really well played all around, and I felt like the warding situation from BLG was so well done. Their only engage that TOP realistically had was that Righteous Glory Ryze, and he never found a backline engage. The lanes were completely scrubbed clean of wards. There was no vision whatsoever, and like you were talking about in the game, they always retreated as 5. They never found a moment where the composition could be broken up. And throughout this series also, BLG has kept complete control of Knight. Knight has not been popping off. He has not been looking like the best mid laner in the LPL whatsoever, and I'm actually quite surprised about that result.
Kuro has looked so darn good in this series. BLG have been in control of the majority of this series. Early game from TOP, switching around the models of the composition. Game number 3, if we go all the distance, well, we got to see ourselves finding another base race or something similar for the Nexus Rush. We'll find out after this small break.
Hello everybody to week 9, the final week of Ryze's recaps. Man, we're already on the last week and we're moving towards playoffs, so it's time to catch you guys right back up. It's going to be starting off for our first series. It was the Beijing Derby, RNG going up against JDG. It was Wukesong versus Jinjiao. The fact that both these teams, Beijing hopefuls, going up against each other was going to be fun. Game 1 and Game 2 was tough for both these teams. Carson took MVP in Game 1, and in Game 3, my God, it was sick. You already probably saw it in a lot of highlight plays coming out of both Xiaohu and Uzi, and insane plays around the Baron buff. This time it was a second go around for the Baron buff, but your eyes had to go to the bottom left side of the screen because once again, Amazing J is doing it alongside Xiaohu, trying to end the game. The rest of the team was just trying to keep them all in the pit. Didn't matter whether they won or lost the team fight because Jax, who was so fed by the way, at this point in time he had gold bounty on top of him. Amazing J had one of his rare, strong performances. It was a tough one. If you look at the faces of RNG, they weren't happy about it because JDG were able to claw themselves back to make it that insanely clutch Baron opportunity. So RNG takes it, and then we move on to our next series. Day 5, EDG versus TOP. This was when our eyes were going on straight towards the mid lane matchup because a lot of people are looking towards what Knight did to Doinby last time around. TOP solidifying themselves as the strongest team in the league, and when they took down FPX, they had a pretty handy performance coming up to this point in time. But look at this game 2. EDG nearly perfect game TOP in game 1, and then we move on to the second one, and Knight couldn't do anything. It reminded you of MSI upon picking up the Morgana versus FLICKR's LeBlanc in Game 5 because at that point, he couldn't find a way in. The new Morgana, the first time we're going to be able to see it in the LPL, in the world, honestly. And every single time he tried to find himself in a flank in a 5v5, Morgana shut him down with a black dark shield, dark binding, blow you up. Scout went off in this particular game. It's kind of sad that iBoy was taking all those MVPs. But you gotta love EDG's drafting and their discipline to be able to clean this series up 2-0 in quick fashion. And now we're at the end of the week. People call this match of the week. Nah, it's the match of the split. finals rematch of RNG versus Invictus Gaming. And I know at the beginning of the week, you got to see amazing J-Star at the top lane. The announcement came out, Zatai is back, and he came in hard in this series. It was a back and forth performance between the Shy and Zatai. You already saw it in the Penta, the highlight moments coming through. The Shy came in huge, but if you look at this play in particular, you got to see Rookie came out with a Sleepy Trouble Bubble. He got his Zoe right back. They kept looking to make picks on towards the AD carry. And so when you start to zoom it back up, you see RNG try to retake position around the mid lane. Then you see Kennen look to take the pick on towards Kalista. This was humongous from the Shy to be able to get this pick, because what it meant for now Invictus Gaming, who had solidified themselves around mid, they can play all the way around, play for Baron buff, take the clean Baron, and then take the clean win. This was RNG having such a large early game win if you look at right back at it, but then they made that crucial flop towards the Rift Herald. Invictus Gaming got the pick, got the win. It's tough, man. It looks like Invictus Gaming are back on top. We're gonna have to see how the LPL shapes up going into week 10. It's looking real messy from a lot of the top teams. And ladies and gentlemen, I think you're caught up. This is gonna be our last episode for this split, Ryze's recaps, and I'm gonna go out and send you with the week 9 MVP of the week. For me, it's the Shy. Every week he comes in and he has highlight performances, highlight plays. When he was picking Vlad into the Ryze, sure he lost that game, but he had an insane solo kill to be able to get his team in towards the mid and late game. That Kennen play you saw, excellent. And then you guys are going to be seeing it on multiple highlight plays going across the world. It was number 3 on Reddit when he was able to have that outplay against Karsa and Zatai off his Silas play. Easy, the Shy takes it. That's going to be it for me in the spring split. Enjoy week 10 and enjoy the playoffs coming right up.